Good morning, digital mentors. It's me again, Monique, your content and trainings director here at Digital Mentors. I am happy to be waking up with you today for this wake up call. I'm going to give everybody just a few minutes to start to gather before I really get into today's topic. But I have been having a lot of conversations with other digital mentors, not necessarily even in our community, just people who are trying to build online audiences, people who are building communities. And it's been really interesting, some of the conversations that have began to surface. Good morning, Ned. How are you? Thanks for tuning in today. If you're here and you're watching, you can go ahead and just say hello in the comments. I will say hello back, and we can chat throughout this conversation. My topic today is about keeping it simple, and I'm going to try and keep this topic simple as well. And it's also about providing value to your audience. Okay, so I know that when we are beginning to create our offers, or we have an idea of inside of our business what we want to provide to our audience, that we can really begin to overcomplicate what it is that we're creating. We think that it has to have a million different components, or that, good morning, Mark, or that our level of showing up and commitment needs to, consume all of our time, all of our energies. We need to put all of the value up front. And that's not necessarily true. And it's also kind of a way for us to keep ourselves blocked from really showing up to create sustainable offers that we can come back to, that we can offer our communities again, and also creating sustainability in our own lives. Because one of the things that is, easy for us as entrepreneurs, and not just entrepreneurs, anybody who's in the working world, is burnout. We can push ourselves so hard and so fast to get to a goal that by the time we get there, we're exhausted and we don't want to participate anymore in what we've created, because we didn't build it in a way that works with our own natural rhythms and flows. Good morning, Robert. He's agreeing. Let's keep it simple. And I believe it was in the wake up call that I hosted on Monday, where I was talking about really just owning your own natural rhythms and knowing what those are. So you can go watch that if you want to hear a little bit more about how to pay attention to what works for you. But particularly today, I want to talk about how you're building your offers. So if you're here and you're watching, in the comments, let me know, what offers are you thinking of putting together for your community? Are you doing a group coaching program? Are you doing one-on-one coaching? Are you offering a downloadable PDF? Are you in that wandering place where you're like, I don't know what to offer, I don't know what I'm doing? Let me know where you're at and what you're creating, so that I can speak specifically to some of the things that you're working with. I'm going to give an example just while I am waiting to hear from you guys. So there is someone that I was speaking to who wants to put together a group coaching experience for their audience. And it's not just about the coaching. They're really interested in creating a safe container for people to step into, where they can be heard and seen and validated. This person was stressing over different elements of how everything would be managed on the back end of stuff, and also wanting to value stack multiple things to create more value for your audience. But often what that does is it creates overwhelm for your audience. When they show up to your purchase page and they know that they're signing up for a group coaching program, and then underneath that there's a million other things, that used to be something that really appealed to people. And sometimes bonuses still are. Like here at Digital Mentors, we give away bonuses inside of our purchase packages when they add value. But if you're stacking things up just to create a perceived value, and consider that it really actually might be overwhelming your audience, and you don't need all of those components, because really What your audience is showing up for, what they're buying into, is time with you, is more experience with your energy and what it is that you are delivering. That's why they showed up and purchased. Yes, the problem that you're solving inside of your product likely attracted them, and they're like, yes, I would like solution around that, but they chose you to work on that problem with. They chose you to step in to find a solution with. So don't let your mind get overcomplicated in the what does this look like, how do I need to set it up, what are all the delivery components. Instead, really be present with showing up with your client in a way that works for them, in a way that works for you. And as you're building your offers, keep in mind that you don't need to overwhelm them with value, because you're bringing the value. Your presence, your knowledge, your experience is the value that you're sharing. Okay. Good morning, Bianca. She's saying, yes, I'm glad to have some agreements. Thank you. Mark is in the wondering place right now. That's totally fine, Mark. That's totally fine. So without being able to pull from you guys specific offers, this is just going to be general example situation. Another thing is, if you're looking at creating an offer for your audience and you're not sure where to start, maybe you don't even know like what product you want to offer or where to begin talking about that. If you already have a social network platform built up somewhere, go where your audience is already engaging. Don't think that right now you need to build up your email list, you need to build up Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, like all at the same time. That's not how it works. You can do that over time, but right now, when you're trying to make an offer and you're putting something together, you want to go to the first place where your people already are. That's going to require the least amount of effort for you to reach them and get in touch with them and have them see what it is that you're creating. Bianca says, yes, exactly. Go where your audience is engaging. That's where it's going to be the most effortless for you to have somebody buy into your offer. It really is. So everything in the conversation this morning, I really just want to remind you to keep it simple. Like, it can be so overwhelming in this marketing world where you get on TikTok and TikTok is like, all you have to do is have all these downloads, and people are trying to get you to get into that business. And then you show up on Facebook and it's some other kind of thing. And then you show up on Instagram and it's about growing your audience over there. And then you show up somewhere else and they're like, newsletter, newsletter, newsletter. We're just inundated with those conversations all the time. But when you're keeping it simple, it really comes back down to you as an individual and what works for you. Because as you're building these things, you're going to need to put things in places, systems that you're maintaining. So you don't want to build your business in a way that works against your natural rhythms and your natural habits. You want to put offers and systems in place that are kind of already a little bit of what you're doing. Just as an example for me, I use a Google Calendar. I have been an online entrepreneur for 10 years. There was a period of time when I didn't live by my Google Calendar. It was more of the paper calendar. And I was a little also all over the place. I also had 25 different journals I was writing in. And I had to decide for myself that that wasn't working and I needed to consolidate and refine my attention. And so over time, I've created habits where the only place that I go is my Google Calendar. I make sure that I book everything out there. And if there's something that I need to work on, I try to block time off for it so that I can make sure that that's getting the attention that it needs. But my Google Calendar is like the place I color code everything. So I know which clients I'm working with when, what projects are what. If I didn't want to give away all the details of my calendar, I would share a screenshot with you right now. But I even mark off the times when I sleep, when I wake up, when I'm doing things for home care. That's for me personally, because I like being able to look back at the end of the day and seeing where my time went. I'm also someone who has a challenging time grasping time. So if I'm not documenting it on the calendar, by the end of the week, I'm going to have a really challenging time remembering what it was that everything that I did, all the tasks that I check off, where my time and energy went. And that didn't feel good for me. I wanted to be able to look back and see where I was making my time investments and the impact that it was making on the experience I was having in my life and my business. So my Google Calendar is one thing that I live by. And when I build out my offers and programs, if I'm having office hours, if I'm leading a workshop, if I'm having one-on-one with clients, all of that goes into my calendar and it's color coded so that I have documentation of it. It also helps me if I have one-on-one clients and let's say they buy a package of sessions, in their call on my Google Calendar, I mark session 1 out of 12, 2 out of 12. And then all I have to do is search that calendar to know where I'm at in that person's program. So that is a way that I've set up a system inside of my coaching program to work with me, because I know that I'm going to go back to my Google Calendar. I'm not going to have to remember what journal I wrote something in or what email something was said in. I have a system that works for me and I put that in place. And putting those systems in place are part of creating your offers, because there's the front end of you building your offer and sharing it and selling it with people. And then there's the other side of your offer where it's the delivery portion of it and you're managing that. Bianca says the last 2 weeks she's been doing one-on-one conversations that have all come from here on Facebook. So she's leaning into being here more. Yes, that's great to hear. I know that you're big on TikTok too, Bianca. And then I've heard you mention before also that you get a lot of conversations from YouTube, but it is a little bit like that where you, in the moment, you just go where the action is happening and it will ebb and flow and change and move. And you just have to move right along with it. Thank you for sharing that. Bianca has been going back to the basics, like making comments in groups, truly from a place of wanting to help. I am that person as well. Also, this is random, but I'm in a Canva Facebook group and there was somebody in there who needed help with a flyer and it was going to be more complicated for me to describe to him how to fix it. So I was like, send it over to me, somebody I didn't know. I'll fix it for you. And I was just doing it because I could and I wanted to help. And so I did. And then he ended up sending me $25 for it. So that was just a really funny happening. Oh, I can see that my internet's getting choppy. Sidebar question. Let's see what Mark is asking. When you're being constantly bombarded by dozens of gurus, how do you decide who you are going to listen to? This is a really great question, Mark. Listen to yourself. That's what I'm going to tell you. Listen to yourself. Because the thing is, all of the people out there who are gurus have just figured out a system that has worked for them. And they figured out a system that they were able to plug other people into. And they figured out how to make that system work for people. So if there's a guru that's speaking to you and their system and what it is that they're selling is calling to you, it's possible that that may be a good fit for you. It may work out well for you. But if you have 10 gurus that you're following and they're all saying something different, you really have to narrow down like what feels most important to you, because they're all going to be teaching what worked for them and what they decided to get behind, whether it's like newsletters and creating leads, or if it's building your Instagram following, or all those different things that we mentioned before. I would really listen to your own gut, listen to yourself. Where are you feeling called to point your attention? Because it's not like their formulas and their systems. And let's say you came on board with Digital Mentors as a rockstar client and you got into our system, that can work for you. Any of these systems can work for you. But the bottom line is it's going to take you deciding for yourself, I want this, I'm ready for this, I'm going to do the work to make it happen, I'm going to show up, I'm going to keep showing up, and I'm going to work past the mental blocks that I may be facing. Okay, so listen to yourself with which guru resonates with you most. Don't try to implement all of the strategies all at one time, because that's you like scattering your energy, thinning yourself out. Pick one place where you want to focus and give yourself a time period, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or a year. Different people, different increments work differently, and decide to dedicate to that practice. Like if it's building your mailing list and you have a guru who's teaching you something, follow that method as long as you can. And as you're following it, also make your own tweaks. Like, this is working for me. This is not working for me. Let me make an adjustment. Okay. But ultimately, you're the one in your business. You're the one running your business. You're the person that your clients are signing up to be with. You are the one that you need to listen to, and you also need to give yourself your own authority to be the knowledge, in how you're building and directing your business. There are always going to be gurus around that say that they have the secret formula. It's not the secret formula. It's a secret formula, and there's a lot of different ones out there, and we just have to choose individually which ones we want to pursue. But it is very, very, very much like our energy getting behind something and deciding and saying, yes, I'm doing this and I'm playing full out. That makes all the difference in the results that you get. So it's not about the guru, it's about you and what you would like to choose and put yourself behind. Thank you for asking that question. Bianca said that she struggled with this for a while, and each time she comes back to listen to the gurus here at Digital Mentors. I love that. And I think that is also, it's because, and this is also why I love being a part of Digital Mentors. It is because we are interested in you authentically creating what you need to create for your business. We have a roadmap for you to follow. But all of our coaches, all of our mentors, everybody who's inside of Digital Mentors really wants to harness the uniqueness that is you and what works best for you to create success in your business. So it doesn't surprise me, Bianca, that you come back here, because it is a big part of, we want you to be yourself. We're not trying to get you to fit into any other box, because in the long run, as you're building this business, it's not just like you're doing it for a year, like you're really looking at this over the next 10 years. And over the next 10 years, you need to be able to enjoy that process. You need to be able to feel proud of what it is that you're showing up inside of. Mark said, the other side of the question, which ties into today's topic of providing value, is how do we get others to listen to us? Mark, I'm going to refer a little bit back to Bianca, where she was talking about going into the Facebook groups and posting on comments and genuinely wanting to help. My invitation to you would to be not to worry about getting people to listen to you, because in what I'm feeling is that you're coming from that in a place where you're like, I need to create authority inside of my business so that other people will listen to me. And really, you just need to be a living example of what it is that you're teaching. Share some of yourself on your social feed. Share some of your life on your social feed. Let people get to know who you are and what's important to you and what your values are. That's where people start to form connections with you. It's the same way as if like we went to an in-person networking event and you're in a room and you want people to listen to you. You're not going to hop up on the table and be like, everybody, I have something to say. You're going to walk around the room and you're going to introduce yourself and you're going to say, hey, how are you? What's going on in your life? What are you doing? It is a process of working with people, of getting to know people. So that it's like shifting that focus a little bit of how do I get you to listen to me? And maybe instead you need to be listening a little bit more to the people around you. And as you do that, it's going to start to become aware how you can be of service to them, how you can start to show up for them. And the more conversations that you have, there'll be themes that show up where there are certain types of people having certain types of conversations around you that you have the answer to. I'm showing up on this wake up call talking about this because yesterday I had 3 conversations where I said almost the exact same thing to 3 different people, and the solution looked different for each of them, but the message was the same. Okay, so I would invite you to shift out of that space of needing to establish yourself as a guru or needing to get anyone to listen to you, and move into the space of human connection. Like, make a goal to connect in conversation in a group or through Messenger with like 5 people this week. I know it's already Thursday. And just check on people, see how they're doing. And then in your posts, pardon me, talk about things that are important to you and things that are going on in your life. Give people an inside look to who you are. And I don't have you as a friend on Mark, so I haven't seen what you've been posting to give you any more constructive feedback than that, but I hope that that really helps. Good, Bianca. Robert says that is another income stream, Canva helping. It really is. It really is. I do love helping in Canva, but I have to stop myself sometimes because I would do all the things for all the peoples if I could. Bianca said, once you start listening to yourself more, you'll see yourself becoming the guru. Absolutely. And I do think that we're moving into an age where like that guru concept isn't as coveted anymore. You know, it's not something that anybody wants to be. And quite frankly, it's not even there's like a faux air to it too, because really it just means that you're an expert and that you've experienced enough and studied enough in your field and found enough things that work for enough people that you're calling yourself a guru in that space. And that's okay. But like, personally, I'm someone who I always want to be learning. I always want to be evolving. I always want to be growing. I'm not interested in like putting myself in any kind of guru type box, because that creates an expectation for people to show up to. That's just my own personal outlook on the guru conversation. But Bianca is right. Like, once you start following your intuitive voice more, like, yes, study up on the things that these people are providing, but then once you have that information, really sit with what is feeling best and working best for you. And if it doesn't feel right, don't waste time pursuing it. Mark said, great responses, Megan and Bianca. Your answers are congruent with what I have been doing. I will continue and expand. Wonderful. See, you're already listening to yourself and heading in the right direction. That's great. Anthony said, that's a great point. Diane is excellent with relationships. We bonded over being from Brooklyn. She's probably has a unique point with every friend. That's true. You know, just making that point of connection. And also, Mark and Anthony, like when we were talking about sharing ourselves, like that is how people often make a point of connection with us. It may be in these live conversations where you're like, you're from Brooklyn, I'm from Brooklyn too. But it also could be like, I posted a reel yesterday, actually, and I was like, I just wasn't feeling my best. And that's what the reel was a video of me obviously looking like I didn't feel my best. And I did a voiceover and I was like, it's okay if every day isn't your best day, something to that effect. And I got a lot of comments on that for like, thank you, I needed to hear this today. So it really, the more transparent you can be in certain ways, the more authentic you can be with your audience. Those are always going to be touch points for them to really connect with you and come into your business and have more of an ear for listening for, good morning, David, for what it is that you're creating. Good morning, Tanis. Hello. Oh, Bianca said Brooklyn in the house. So now we have 3 known Brooklynites. Is that a word? I hope this conversation has resonated with you. Tanis, you are hopping on the back end of it, so you'll have to rewind if you want to listen again, but thank you for being here. I hope that this has resonated with you. I know we didn't get into the specifics of like offer structure and what that can look like. Maybe that can be another conversation. And Bianca said she's not from Brooklyn. She was just getting silly, sorry. Oh, and Brooklynites is a word. That's good. But I hope that you guys have a great day. I hope that this conversation provided a little bit of inspiration for you. And Mark, thank you for your questions and comments, because it really shifted the conversation this morning into reminding us to be true to yourself, like no matter what the advice is that's going on out there in the world, to bring it back home, listen to what feels best for you intuitively, and move forward in those places that are important to you. And remember, if you're building an offer for your audience, keep it as simple as possible. Do not overwhelm yourself and complicate the process. It doesn't need to be that. People just want to be in your presence. They just want to spend time with you, and they want the solutions that you have to solve their problems, which you can absolutely do. Thank you guys for being a part of this call this morning. I hope that you have a great day. Tomorrow is Friday, and we have Yolanda here leading the call, so make sure that you show up for that. And then if you are a Digital Mentors member in the members only community, tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, Bob Clark is leading our social media marketing training. So make sure that you're there for that. I hope you guys have a great day.